Here I will show you how Molstar can be used to show annotations, including those prepared by the PDB and those from other bioinformatics services. So what I mean by annotations here are, for example, highlighting the differences between the structure in the asymmetric unit versus the biological quaternary structure, or symmetry partners. I'd like to think that perhaps most of you are familiar with the PDB's validation reports that we produce both during deposition and alongside our entries online. Now, these have a simple color code from green to red that describes the accumulation of geometric issues at the residue-specific level. And using this information, we can combine it with a coloring scheme for across our protein, so that we can start to visually interrogate our validation metrics from any entry from the PDB archive. In terms of other tools, we can also put in annotations from services such as PFAM to highlight extra features like protein domains. Now, very quickly, I'll show you these features now for a structure of HSP90 with an inhibitor. At the top of the control pane here, under source, there's my mouse, under source, we can see that the biological assembly is selected by default, and that in this structure, it is a dimer of two distinct protein chains. However, if I choose to show the deposited file, back to source, change the deposited file and click apply, we can see that the dimer was actually built with a symmetry operation, and that the deposited coordinates in the asymmetric unit only describe a monomer. For clarity now, I'll show you that when waters are present, as a molecular type, these also have their own visualization options. And again, for clarity here, I'll just turn them off. But if I pop up again to the annotations pane, I can now choose to show the validation report data and the coloring directly on the protein structure. Now here we can see, perhaps unsurprisingly, that our most dynamic regions, flexible loops, are those which possess the worst geometric scores. And indeed, if we then hover over these specific residues, we're able to see a bit more information about this in the tooltip at the bottom. And here we can see that residue tyrosine 38 has issues in the validation report with respect to atomic clashes, bad bond lengths, and bond angles. Now, in terms of other annotations, if I now turn validation report coloring off and activate domain coloring, I can now start to show annotations from external services. So here, PFAM is shown an example of this histidine kinase domain, or DNA gyrase B. Also for this structure, Interpro, for example, would highlight the different subdivisions of functional families in HSP90. So for example, where are we? Should get distinct coloring depending upon the Interpro classification. And again, we can see this specifically written out in the tooltip at the bottom. And for CAF, we should hopefully be able to see structural annotations describing the whole heat shock protein topology.